Welcome. Today's topic is, do we have a tank of motivation without a goal, without an outcome on our experience or result that we want to participate in? Do we wake up just feeling motivated, just feeling, how am I going to spend this motivation today? Or does motivation arrive, be created within us because of the goal? You know, that idea that you have something that you want to experience, that thrills you, that ignites your heart, that challenges you, that makes you feel like, I don't know if I'm actually going to achieve that. I would love to, but I don't know if I'm going to. That kind of goal. And so what I love about goals is the journey. And I've climbed many mountains: Kilimanjaro, Island Peak, Base Camp Everest, the Yorkshire Three Peaks, the National Three Peaks. And the destination is moments, really, in comparison to the journey. And what I love about those kind of goals for me is who I become in the process, ready to achieve the outcome. You know, fitter, healthier, brighter, sharper, on it. You know, somebody said to me the other day, why do you like altitude walking? I think like altitude walking could be a bit strong, because at altitude I experience bad headaches, nausea, tiredness, can't sleep, pins and needles, body aches. Breathing is slower. It's not pleasant, but there's something about requiring your mind to show up when your body is struggling. But I love it because the outcome isn't a given. There isn't. If I train like this, I'm definitely going to achieve that when it comes to altitude walking. I remember when I was climbing Kilimanjaro, the first time I did it, I got really bad altitude sickness, and at 18,500 feet had to come down. So the last time I was going, I didn't know if I was going to make it, because when you get swelling on the brain and fluid in the lungs, you can't continue. That is irresponsible to yourself and to the rest of the group. But so when I went there the second time a few years ago, I didn't know if I was going to do it. I'd done the training. I had really done the training, but it's not until you're there that you know how you're going to respond. And there was, before we do the last ascent, so we do that late, we do it in the dark. And the reason why we do the last ascent in the dark, do you know the reason? It's so that we don't get overfaced at the challenge ahead of us in the daylight, because it's a mile of scree going up. So in the daylight it puts people off, but in the dark you just do the next step, the next step, and the next step. But anyway, so just before they serve us, before we set off, they serve us cornflakes and hot milk. And there was one guy, I was just trying to stay in the zone, and there was a guy from a separate group. He was there with his friend, and he was really, I don't know if he was convincing himself more than me, but he was saying, oh, it's all about PMA, he kept saying to me. They were from Switzerland. Positive mental attitude. What you need to do, Lisa, is you've got to believe. And he was making a lot of assumptions about where my mind was at, because I was quiet. And I was quiet because the little sleep that we'd been given an opportunity to have, I was sharing a room with 5 guys. They were snoring, they were having, you know, other noises going on, and also I was laying there thinking, I've come all this way, am I actually going to get to the top? So I was keeping my own counsel, I was trying to keep my mind healthy and light. So he kind of underestimated where my mind was at. He thought my quietness was insecurity, was doubt, but it wasn't. It was maintaining my strength. Anyway, I got to the top. I mean, it was emotional, and the people in the group were amazing. It was the most special experience ever. But I got to the top and came down, and then we got back to the shelter where we stay for a few hours, and the guy that had been giving me all the briefing, positive mental attitude, Lisa, you've got to keep your mind, it's all about the mind. I popped into their room, into their dormitory, and his mate was stood there saying, and I was already in, you know, Lisa style, hi, how did you do? And the chap that had been talking to me didn't make it. Sorry, that's just the door. Didn't make it. He didn't make it to the top. He got really bad altitude sickness and he had to come down. Fit, they were athletes. They were so fit. His friend was quieter, a bit like me. So I love altitude walking and that kind of goal, because I do not know how I'm going to be when I get to it. I love the fact that there is a high possibility that I might not achieve it, but who I become in order to give that a go is a much better person than ruling it out from the start. And somebody did say to me, actually, it was an old accountant at the time, said, oh, I don't know why you're trying it, you failed it the first time, why are you going back? Now that told me a lot about how he would think. If something's not worked first time, then you try something different, but you don't try the same thing. That didn't make sense to me, because if we applied that same theory to walking, none of us would be off the floor when we were crawling. So, motivation. It's a little rambling story, but motivation, I was highly motivated. I was motivated to go walking in the rain, to drive 50 miles, to find some mountains, to keep walking up and down them. I was highly motivated. If I didn't have a goal at the end of it, would I be motivated to go walking for the sake of it? I don't know. I don't think so. So, for you, do you wake up feeling motivated and plow it into everything? Or is that a sense of consciousness that you wake up with? Or do you feel more motivated when you've got a goal to work for and the idea of becoming greater than you are now, whether it's greater in terms of strength, emotional well-being, showing up for life? Whether you find that the journey creates the motivation towards the goal. I'd love to know your thoughts. So let me know. Have a great day. Mwah!